Hey, what's going on? This is Kris. Welcome back to the chat with Selassie. In that first part, we got into some pretty deep stuff about the intricacies of marriage and ups and downs of marriage and divorce. In this next part, we're going to dive even deeper. We want to talk a little bit more about the part I played ultimately in the ending of our marriage and the subsequent divorce. So this is my story. Grab your popcorn, take a seat, and hopefully you get something from this to take away. Thank you.
Before we go to, the regrets, let's go back a little bit. When you say that the kids, like in this case, that was the artist, the nephews, the nieces, the family becoming your family, and all of those things. Those things were like kind of like the anchor, like you were. Those were the reasons after a while you were in the marriage. Do you think that all of these people could see that both of you were unhappy? Because for me personally, I believe that kids can see when their parents are not happy or when their parents are toxic to each other. Kids can see. Do you think that we are making it about them, or is it truly about them? Do you think that they'll be happier seeing the parents happy? So in your case, do you think that you could have even been more productive, right, to these artists if you guys were actually separated? So my question to you is that, do you think that the people around you, the people that became your anchor, do you think that they were seeing that both of you, there was something going on in your marriage that was not going towards the right direction?
Yeah, I know they saw it. In hindsight, yeah, I know they saw it. I know for a fact because I heard from one of them that one of the artists who ended up leaving and doing her own thing said like, yeah, they're it's not gonna work because they're not working. It's not gonna work. So they saw it where it was heading, and I'm sure she did, at some point, like saw where it was heading.
Can we generalize something a little bit and not just make it specifically about your situation for a second?
Yeah, yeah.
Is that when children come in marriage, when people get married and then they have kids, most of the time I've heard that, sometimes they make it all about the kids and forget themselves, as a couple. Do you think that if during the hard times or even during the good times, parent or married couples can, yes, still think about the kids, but also think about each other first before the kids? Because I feel like they are the house, they are the foundation. If the foundation is not strong,
Then
the house is the kids, is built on the foundation. The house is going to break.
Yep.
It's going to fall. But sometimes we are preserving the house and not thinking about the foundation, right? So we are holding on to these kids, thinking that, well, let's tough it through, let's tough it up, let's do this, even though we are toxic for each other, or even though it's not working and we are unhappy. Let's continue to be unhappy so we can make the children happy. I think the children are actually not happy. They can see that their parents are not happy. And I think that adults, sometimes we cannot really face what it is, so we are making it about the children. I'm not saying it's not about the children. It is about the children, but I think there's something deeper that we may not want to look at, or we may not want to attend to. So we are saying, oh, the reason I'm in here is because of the children. Some part of that is true, But I don't think it's entirely all of it, because just talking from a place of someone who, has experienced breakup, I think sometimes after you have loved somebody, shared love with somebody, separating now is hard because you see yourself in one another. You have shared so many things together. You have memories together. And sometimes you almost feel as if you cannot live without that person, right? And this is from a single person's point of view. This is from my point of view where I have no kids. But if I had kids, guess what? I would not pay attention to that feeling. I would say, oh, the kids, we cannot separate. I cannot leave this marriage because of the kids. But some part of it is also because I cannot leave this relationship or this marriage because I don't think I can live without him.
Well, I think there's absolute truth to that because, like, you hear people say stuff like, what is marriage? It's just a piece of paper. But, when the Bible talks about, you making an oath before God and the two become one, I really felt that after that, after we got married. And it's hard. It's like the two become one flesh. So imagine flesh just ripping apart.
Yeah.
That's very painful.
Mm-hmm.
Were the kids a factor? Yes, but you have become one with this person. And I know in our case, I feel like, I'll just speak for myself, I lost a part of me in our marriage because I was so focused on all the other stuff. To where, like, towards the end, I was like, no, I'm going to focus on me. Not I'm going to focus on our marriage and what's not right and what we need to fix here. But I'm going to focus on me. I'm going to go out and hang with my friends because that's what I used to do. And getting back to me and da da da. And yeah, like that separation is tough. Kids or no kids, it's tough.
So now, fast forwarding to the regrets, like you did mention before, you said that you regret for not fighting harder. Was this something to fight for?
Oh, was it something to fight for?
Because I think that on the first hand, that's what everyone would think. Maybe I should have done this, or maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I should have fought harder, or maybe I should have been more submissive, or maybe I should have given more. But I've also heard and seen cases where you couldn't have done anything different. It just wasn't working.
I don't know if it was worth fighting for after a certain point. And I feel like maybe part of that flight thing in me innately knew that. But I felt tied to all of it. I feel like at a certain point it was too far gone. And I knew that in my gut. But I just, at the time, I didn't have the courage to speak up for myself and say, hey, this isn't working for me anymore.
So what you're telling me is that there was nothing to fight for at a certain point.
Yeah.
I know by default we would want to think that that was, we could have bought harder. Like I said, we could have done something different. And we make accepting that, look, it is what it is, that there is nothing more or less you can do, there is nothing to fight for. We make it so negative. Sometimes we make letting go or giving up negative. But I think that giving up after you've done everything you can do is good sometimes, to let go. If you've done everything you can do and nothing is working, or if it's just not working, you cannot.
Now, when I say I wish I would have fought harder, I just wish I would have stepped up and said, hey, I wish I would have been more vocal and said, let's get marriage counseling.
Oh, so you wish you would have communicated your
my feelings more.
And then look for solutions versus look for an exit.
Right.
Okay.
That's what I mean.
Okay. So you guys did not get, once you started feeling, I think this is it, we're going to be over, divorce. You guys did not get a third party. You guys did not get help, no therapy, no counseling. You went straight ahead to divorce.
That is my regret.
Oh, yes.
That is my regret. Whether it was something to fight for or not.
Maybe you would have found out then.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. If I would have did that, I would have felt more at peace. If by the end of that, we both looked across the table and were like, yeah, we had a good run. I would have felt peace about it.
Yeah.
Now, I look back and I feel peace about everything looking back. Because I just don't believe in, like I said, is that a regret? Yes. But do I believe in wallowing in regrets? And no, I don't believe in that. And I believe everything happens as it's supposed to happen. And looking at her life from a distance, and looking at my life personally, we're both doing great. We're thriving.
Do you guys still talk, you and your ex-wife?
We talk occasionally if it's something involving business. Yeah, that's pretty much the extent of it. But I mean, it's not like we hate each other or we're not on speaking terms. But I think more so on her end, it's like, she wants to keep that boundary.
The boundary.
Yeah, so I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow. So after you got divorced, mentally, emotionally, how did you handle it? Because I know you're a man. I know sometimes men can, toughen it up and everything, and you brought about the divorce. So you said, let's get divorced, right? From what you said? Or she did?
It was kind of both of us at a certain point.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't mean that, calling the shot does not mean you are not hurt. Because, I've had situations where, I'll tell the person, I don't think this is working. So I think this is it for us. I'm going to, it's a goodbye. Now, it does not mean I will not cry. It does not mean I will not grieve over a relationship that I've just lost.
Right.
It was something that was necessary and it needed to be done.
Right.
But I was still hurt. So were you hurt, and how did you handle emotionally, mentally? What were some of the things that you went through? Because you spent a lot of time, years with this person.
Yes. Yeah. The hardest part was the isolation. Not realizing how codependent you've become on another person. Learning outside of music and her, what do you like? Taking myself out on a date by myself.
Yes.
Not dating for like a good 2 years. Like, I don't want it. I don't even want to see nobody. Like, just, I'm focused on me. I'm focused on rebuilding. Um, but yeah, it was very painful just having, um, flashbacks of the better times and stuff like that. And once I knew that she forgave me for my part that I played in it. Um, and then once I forgave myself, I was able to move forward from there.
Wow. I like that you brought this up because it's one thing for someone to forgive you, but it's another thing for you to forgive yourself. Because no matter what, no matter what someone has done to you, you also played a part in it. In this case, in the marriage. So you need to forgive yourself. That's the only way you can move on. What did forgiving yourself look like?
Just looking at it from a standpoint of like, you know what, man? Y'all had 13 years together. That's a lot more than what a lot of people can say. Y'all were young. Y'all didn't know what the hell y'all was doing. Y'all got married. Y'all lived together. Y'all got to travel the world together. Y'all got to make beautiful music together that other people could benefit from. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay. Like, y'all, considering everything that was going on at different times and all that y'all had to deal with and everything, y'all did good. And y'all did the best that you knew how to do at the time.
Yes.
And that's even like that goes into other areas, like when talking about how you were raised and looking at your parents and the mistakes they may have made. Like, I went through that very late teens, early 20s, like, you did this and this is why my life is like this, and I had to come to the point where it was like they did the best that they knew how to at that time.
That's true.
And that's all of us. We're all doing the best that we know how to with what we've been given.
Yes. At that time.
Yes. And we have to have grace on others and grace for ourselves.
Oh, yes. I use that to find peace for myself as well.
Yes.
It's just, telling myself that was all I knew at that time and that was all I needed to do.
Right.
And I gave it my best shot.
Yep.
And I used all the tools that I had. So I'm glad just hearing from someone. I really can resonate with that, your process or what it meant to you to forgive yourself, what it looked like. I can resonate with that. Yeah. I have met divorcees who say they don't want to get married anymore. I have met people who have experienced breakup who gave up on love, and that's sort of like, don't give up on love. Love is sweet when you share it with the right person, and when you go about it the right way, and are open to learning. I've met them say, okay, I don't want to be in a relationship anymore. I don't want to get married anymore. I did it before and it did not work for me. Being it that they've been married once or twice or even 3 times. I've met people who have just been married once and that's it. I'm not going to do it again. Is Kris open to marriage again? Are you open to marriage again?
Today, yes. Shortly after the divorce, if you would have asked me that, I probably would have said no. But as time has passed,
and healing has happened.
Healing has happened, forgiveness, and all those different things. Yeah, there's still that dreamer in me. There's still that part of me that still believes that it's possible. Um, you know, and God is starting to show me things. Uh, lately, specifically professionally, that certain things are possible. That I always thought, I wanted this, and then there was a certain point where I'm like, is this even gonna happen? Like, geez, like I've been doing this a long time, and personally, things are starting to happen, to where it's like, yeah, I can see that for myself.
Do you want that for yourself?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do. I still feel like I have some things to work on individually to be the best person in a marriage.
Yes.
But I do want that for myself.
And I wish for that for you as well.
Thank you.
I think everything about life is perspective. I have one friend that will always, when I am going through something and event, I'm like, oh, this is this and this is that, this is not going well, and then she likes to give her perspective on things a lot, and most of the time her perspective is from a place of gratefulness, and so while I am just going on and on about what is not working, how this is going, and she comes in with her perspective, it quiets me, and I intentionally begin to look at that situation from her perspective, and then I have hope again. So just seeing you using words like, I have things I think I need to work on. I don't think that anyone can be 100% ready. I used to think that, I need to be fully ready.
You're never ready.
Yes, you're never ready. As long as you're open to continual growing and learning and unlearning, I think that is being ready.
Yeah.
If you're at a place where you're open to unlearning and learning and growing, then that is when you're ready.
Right. And I also think that that gratefulness that you were talking about is like is big. Like learning to. I feel like all humans, we have this entitlement thing. We have this idea in our head of what we think our lives should be like. And we feel like, God, all right, you need to make it happen. And when it doesn't happen, or it doesn't happen in the time frame that we thought it was going to happen, we start trying to take things in our own control, or being ungrateful and looking at Instagram and other people's lives and what they have, and I should have that too, or I did this and I did this and me, and it's like God doesn't owe you anything. None of us out here, So even when people are like, you did, wow, you wrote for who, and you did this, and wow, I'm just like, if you only knew. It was not me. It was God. Because when I tell you we were writing 200 songs a year and maybe getting one placement, and then all of a sudden, some song you're not thinking about that you wrote years ago, and somebody calls you about it and say, hey, we want to put this song out. Was that me or was that God? Because if it was me, I would have thought the 198th song that I
Yeah.
wrote was the one.
Yeah.
So, I don't take any credit for any of this. I don't put myself on a deadline or of when things should happen, or I know I want kids, but if I never have kids of my own, will I still be happy? Can I still be happy?
Mhm.
If I can't, then that's it. That's an issue. Because God has been great to me. So anything extra is just icing on the cake.
I hope for all that you hope for yourself, for you.
Thank you.
I hope for marriage for you with a partner that, it's as open as you are now to unlearning and learning and growing together and not running when it gets hard,
Yes.
but seeking counseling or seeking help or seeking a different perspective.
Right.
As to how to look at something or as to how to solve something. I hope for a good marriage for you.
Thank you.
I hope for that, and I pray for that for you. What would be one thing that you like to leave with myself and the audience and men when it comes to marriage, like doing marriage or relationship and making it work?
Be less selfish and more selfless. I say this all the time. I believe that men need something to take care of more than themselves. To hold themselves accountable. Like if you look in the Bible, before Eve even came, God was like, look, go out there and name them animals and tend to your situation. So, as far as men, we in Atlanta, there's a lot of women out here.
Yes, a lot of women.
They're everywhere. But I personally believe that, there's a lot to gain and learn from an intimate relationship with another person. And if you don't run from it, but look at it as an opportunity to grow and do something bigger than yourself and leave. Another thing I'm big on is leaving a legacy. I think that's why kids are important to me too. It's like, all right, what I do here is okay, but what am I leaving for when it's my last day? What will people say about me at my funeral? So, yeah, just be, and that goes outside of relationships. I know I'm getting off topic, but
No, it's okay.
Be less selfish and more selfless.
When you were diagnosed with your mental illness, and you said, as a man, it is in you. That's how you guys are made to go out and work and bring something home and take care of the home. But here you are diagnosed with mental illness and battling with what society describes a man to be or what a man should do, right? So you're battling you have been diagnosed, one, with mental illness, which is already hard on you, just waking up one day and having something that did not used to be there, right? And now you're like, oh, I'm a man, I have to go out and I also have to provide. I am tired of depending on my wife or, my wife being the one to provide.
Yeah.
Where was that pressure from? Were you tired or was it just, this is how a man should be, so I'm going to go do it?
It was in me. Like, even when I was, I'm talking about like terribly failing at, at going out into the workplace and not struggling with anxiety, just making it through the day. I was just like, not even for my marriage, But just for me, I need to be doing something productive. If I'm not doing something productive, then I guess it was tied to my self-worth too, when I think about it. It's kind of funny, but it's like, as men, well, y'all are amazing. Y'all do everything. We, as guys, we're going to bring some money home. We're going to protect the home. Everything else,
So when you
we got to work on it.
yeah, but when you felt that you were not in a position of protecting the home or bringing some money home, did it make you feel less of a man?
Yeah.
Why? Is it because they say that's how it should be?
I think so. I think that, and I feel like I said it before, as a man, there's just something in you that wants to do that.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter that I had this diagnosis and literally clinically could not work like I used to. It didn't matter to me. I'm like, look, I gotta do something. I can't sit in this house and collect a check. Like, some people would be, hey, more power to you. I don't know what camera I'm looking at. Some people are okay with that. And if you're okay with that and you're happy, then that's fine. For me, I always knew there was more. And I was like, I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to take the medicine. I'm going to go to counseling. I did that for myself. I'm going to do that for myself. I'm going to read the books. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to try to eat right. I'm going to do everything in my power to get myself to where I need to be so that I can live the kind of life that I want to live. Because as a man, this is what I feel I need to be doing. Period.
Kris, I think that as a person, this is what maybe you should be doing, but not as a man. Because for me, from my perspective, I think that regardless of all those things, it doesn't make you less of a man. And I want men to release themselves of that, because sometimes women, we like to talk about feelings and, what we think and what we feel. Men on the other side, no, they don't talk to us. They don't let us know that I don't feel strong in this moment. Men always want to be strong for themselves and for us. But I think that there is some beauty and there is so much power in vulnerability. And from what you're telling me, when you were diagnosed, that was your moment of vulnerability. That was battling with what you have made your self-worth around, which is what you can do. So when you were not able to do
right, what is right,
you were like, oh, what am I worthy of? As a man. Right. But I think you were worthy of everything, because it wasn't like you were not diagnosed with anything. You were diagnosed with something, and that is changing your entire life. That was a lot of information at that time. To be well one time and then another time you're like, oh, this is going on. I think that men should talk to us more. I'm a woman. I know that women, we love it. Now, I'm not saying there may not be women who will be like, oh, well, you still need to go out there, blah, blah. But if you...
And I didn't even have that pressure. I can say that.
You didn't have... It was just your own...
It was me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You men should release themselves of that. Even the pressure you were putting on yourself. So in your case, there was no external pressure. It was all internal.
Yes.
It was all
from
society.
And more so, though, internal.
Yeah.
Like,
So
this
it's
is what I
pressure
feel.
from what
So
society
he thinks.
has described a man to
A
do,
man to
or
do, yes.
what a man should be doing for the home.
Traditional gender roles.
Exactly. But your wife, your ex-wife, was not giving you that pressure. That's what I'm saying. That I think when two people are together as a couple, as partners, can we forget about how society wants us to do the relationship? Can we come up with our own menu of how we want our relationship to go? Because I want to create a safe space for my man to talk to me. To know that he can tell me anything, and I will never see him as less of a man, or more. I would just see him as him. And I think that when men do that more, personally, I see them to be more powerful, because vulnerability, when you're vulnerable to the right person, to a healthy right person, there is more power and beauty in that, and it creates more connection. You become very connected. I want to know when you are not strong, so I can be there for both of us.
Right.
Because men do it for us. You men do it for us. You men are strong for us and everything. But I want to know when, tell me you are weak, that I can't do this right now. I need space. Or I don't, tell us what you feel. Tell us what you think. Because that's the only way we can be there and show up. Really show up. But if you men just leave it to, you are just showing us something on the outside, but on the inside there's something more going on, and you are still going out there to work. I think in the end, there's even so much resentment, because here you are unwell, but you're going out to, toughen it up and do it, and I'm at home or whatever thinking that Kris has changed and what happened, but I don't know all of this going on inside you. I think that I have brothers, I have male friends. I think men can do a better job at communicating, their feelings and their thoughts more, especially their feelings more when it's not a feeling of power.
Right.
Because when it's a feeling of power, that they can communicate. But when it's a vulnerable feeling, sometimes it's very hard for both women and men to communicate. But I think that is a powerful tool to use in a relationship and in life in general.
I agree.
So we're gonna do two fun things.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you one question, and then the second one, I'm gonna ask you to do something, and you cannot say no. There's only a yes. And then you get to ask me to do something as well.
Okay.
Alright, so it's a two-way stream.
Okay.
So number one.
Yes.
What one thing, because I see your beard and I see your hair, and I see you as a man who intentionally takes time to, make those look good and everything. And I know you do have haircut every couple of weeks or whatever, because I was talking to you where you're like, oh, I have an appointment with my barber, things like that. What one thing in terms of maybe skincare or beauty or something that makes you look good, can you not live without?
My beard treatment.
Your beard treatment?
So my barber, Game 7 Barber Studio in Marietta. He has this beard treatment. So I get a haircut every 2 weeks, and then a shape up every 2 weeks. On my haircut days, I get a beard treatment. He puts, I don't know if he wants me to share this, but puts aloe and some other juices and berries in the steam machine. And he steams first he washes it, then he steams my beard.
Wow.
Yeah. Then he puts a hot towel around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I have never heard of this.
Yes.
So this is one thing that you cannot live without.
Now that I do it, yeah, that's like my treat to myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
That's
how girls
self-care.
get, yeah, self-care.
Okay.
Self-care.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And once upon a time, Kris used to be a rapper. So can Kris give us some, little freestyle? This is the last thing I'm going to ask of you.
Like a freestyle? Like
Anything. We just want to see that part of you.
oh, let's see here.
It can be a freestyle, it can be something you've written, whatever. I will take it.
It's been a while since I rapped.
Yes,
Lord.
that's why I like this moment. We're bringing you back to life, Kris.
Lord, I really can't think of anything.
Really?
Hold up.
Just something little.
I'm sorry. It's been a long time.
Okay.
It's been a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We will let this pass.
Okay.
This time.
You gotta give me you gotta give me a little. I'm retired, so.
But if I give you a heads up, then it takes the fun away.
I know, but I can say, okay, I'm going to meet with Selassie. Okay. And I can put a little something
You just gotta be
together.
ready for anything next time.
Okay.
So now it's your turn. You get to ask me a question, one question, or something you like me to do on camera.
Oh, I only get one.
Yeah.
One or the other.
Because I am the host and I get two.
How do you keep your teeth so white?
Is that a compliment?
Yes.
Oh, I'm blushing. Oh, wow. Well,
Yes.
thank you. Because honestly, this is a vulnerable moment for me because I thought my teeth was not white enough.
They're pretty white.
Wow.
I've been looking at them since. Yeah.
Thank you. How do I keep them white? Well, I do brush my teeth morning and evening.
That's key.
I brush my teeth morning and evening, and
Yes.
I use mouthwashes. I try to see the dentist.
Okay.
The dentist is not my favorite place to be to
Okay.
go. But I try to see them not regularly. Maybe I should go more.
Yes.
On
The
a
basics.
yeah,
So
but
you do the basics.
yeah, I do the basics. Yeah. Well,
So-
thank you.
Brush your teeth, mouthwash, floss, and see the dentist. And you too can have teeth like her.
Kris. I really enjoyed this section with you.
Yeah.
I can't thank you enough, Kris. Just
Thank
being
you
here
for
and
allowing me to share my story.
sharing your story and making me laugh. Hopefully, you make someone laugh out there as well. And thank you for stopping by and watching. I hope that you send today's episode to someone who you think will benefit from it. Again, I would love for us to build this community. This is a community that we want to build. This is a community that we want to be able to hold space for ourselves and one another to freely talk, right? Without self-judgment or judgment from anyone at all. So if this resonates with you, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I will love just to, feel that you're here with me and I'm here with you. So thank you. Do you love love? Because I love love. And if you do, you do not give up on love. My name is Selassie and thank you for watching the Chat with Selassie.